talking with Dave Farnbauch of Sweeney Law Firm about bipartisan legislation that was just signed into law by President Trump. So tell us about the new legislation.
Well, Charity, for a long time, at least for the last 70 years, active duty military members have not been able to obtain any remedy or any recourse if they are malpracticed upon at a military hospital or a military facility. But that's all changed. Just recently, on December 20th, President Trump signed a bipartisan piece of federal legislation now authorizing active duty military personnel to bring a legal case for medical malpractice.
So before, what type of recourse did active duty military personnel have if there was a malpractice issue?
Well, they didn't really have any. They would receive, if you became deceased as a result of malpractice, you received a one-time stipend that really wasn't intended to compensate you for malpractice per se. It was just a stipend because you passed. And then if you became disabled as a result of malpractice, you could make a claim for military disability, but that had nothing to do with, pain and suffering and, loss of earning capacity and all the other things that we traditionally associate with damages for medical malpractice.
Are there any, in this legislation that was signed, does it put any caps on the damages that they're allowed to receive?
No, that's one of the great things about this new law is there are no caps on medical malpractice, for the damages, either economic or non-economic. For example, in Indiana, we have caps on damages.
Right.
We have a hard cap on damages, but there is no cap on damages. It's not a traditional lawsuit in the sense that the active service members can file a case in a court of law. It's actually an administrative tribunal through the Department of Defense that will sort of administratively hear these claims. A veteran can be represented by an attorney in this type of a claim. So it's not a full-blown, federal court case like a Federal Tort Claim Act for somebody who's a veteran and receives care in a VA hospital. Those veterans who are malpracticed upon can bring a claim in a federal court for malpractice.
So that's where it's like, I think of the movie whose name, the name just left me, but I think
Tom Cruise.
The Tom Cruise movie where you can't handle the truth, right. He says that, because that is in a military court. So that's where these go, to that same kind of
Right. They're
thing.
still sort of working out the details of how they're going to set up the actual system for adjudicating these claims, but it's in the works.
And so this is for active duty.
Correct.
Not because veterans, someone who's not active duty, they can file in a court of law.
Right, in a federal court.
Anyone else, you or I, have a medical malpractice, we can.
Correct. Veterans that receive VA care can file an action in federal court for medical malpractice.
But important to note, if you are an active duty military person, you should still contact Dave Farnbauch, Sweeney Law Firm, because you need an attorney representing you, right?
Correct. Yep.
All right. Well, if you are an active duty military, now would be the time. If you think that you have had a medical malpractice issue, give Sweeney Law Firm a call. At least let them talk you through it. 420-3137. We'll be right back.